If you're taking a GLP-1 right now and not learning how to eat, train, preserve muscle, manage hunger, and maintain your results, then you might be setting yourself up to regain the weight later because the medication may be suppressing your appetite right now. But eventually, your long-term habits are still going to matter. And before you click away because you're not taking a GLP-1, stay with me because every single thing we're discussing today applies to sustainable fat loss, whether someone uses medication or not. This conversation is really about long-term success. It's about stability. It's about learning how to build a body and a lifestyle you can actually maintain. And stay with me until the end because number 5 may be the most important psychological lesson of all, especially if you've started panicking because you're worried that the hunger is coming back. But first, this is not an anti-GLP-1 video. I am not here to shame anyone about taking a medication. I understand why people are interested in them. I understand why providers are prescribing them. And for some people, these medications may absolutely have a role. But after working in nutrition, metabolism, and behavior change for more than 30 years, I'm seeing some patterns that honestly concern me. And what inspired this video was a conversation I had recently with a client who admitted something very honest. She said, "I didn't really do my nutrition homework while I was taking the medication." And you know what? I appreciated the honesty because now that some time has passed and the weight has come back on, she can clearly see where the gaps were. She wasn't consuming enough protein. Her resistance training was inconsistent. She hadn't learned her body's true needs for maintenance calories. She hadn't yet learned how to manage her hunger. She hadn't yet taken the time to build the actual lifestyle skills necessary to sustain the results. I'm not sharing that to criticize her. I'm sharing that because I think many people are quietly doing the exact same thing. This medication creates a window of opportunity. And if appetite is quieter right now, this is the ideal time to learn the skills you'll eventually need for life anyway. Because temporary appetite suppression is not the same thing as long-term skill development. So today, I want to walk you through the 5 things I believe every person should be learning while taking a GLP-1 medication. Not later, things to learn now, because the body you keep requires skills. Let's start with number 1. Learn your protein needs. And more importantly, learn how to hit them consistently. This is probably one of the biggest mistakes I'm seeing. People know protein matters, they've heard protein matters, but they do not actually know, in most cases, how much they need, how to structure it, how to prioritize it, or how to consistently incorporate it into real life. And this matters enormously during weight loss, especially after 40. Because if protein intake is too low while body weight is dropping, the body becomes far more likely to pull from lean tissue, your muscle. This is not what we want. Muscle is metabolically active tissue. It supports a number of things: metabolism, insulin sensitivity, blood sugar regulation, strength, recovery, healthy aging, mobility, and long-term weight maintenance. And unfortunately, many people taking GLP-1s are dramatically under-eating protein because appetite is so suppressed. Sometimes they're eating tiny little snack portions all day and calling it nutrition. No, that's not strategy. That's just under-eating with appetite suppression, helping you tolerate it temporarily. And remember, later happens fast. People say, "Oh, I'll focus on muscle later. Oh, I'll strength train later. Oh, I'll dial in that nutrition later." No, you build the body you keep while you're losing the weight. That is the point. And perfection isn't required here. Practice is. Because confidence comes from repetition. Learning how to order protein at restaurants, how to build meals around protein, how to prep it, how to prioritize it even when you're busy. Those are life skills, not diet skills. And if someone is taking a GLP-1 without learning those things, in my experience, they're missing a huge opportunity. Number 2, learn what adequate calories actually look like. This one is big. Theoretically, GLP-1s help create weight loss because they help place someone into a caloric deficit. That's fine. But the question becomes, is it an appropriate deficit? Or are you eating so little that you're sacrificing your muscle tissue, energy, recovery? Many people think, well, if eating less is producing faster weight loss, then even less must be better. No, that's not how physiology works long term, especially for women after 40. At some point, the body adapts, metabolism adapts downward, movement often decreases subconsciously, training performance decreases, recovery suffers, and maintaining results becomes harder. Therefore, your goal should not be, how little can I eat? Your goal should be, how much can I eat while still moving towards my goals and preserving muscle, metabolism, and sanity? Very different question. You also need to learn the difference between fat loss calories, maintenance calories, and overeating. Because eventually, if you stop the medication, your appetite will normalize to some degree. And if you have no idea what appropriate intake looks like, people often swing from extreme suppression to feeling completely out of control. That's terrifying for many women. So while the medication is helping quiet appetite signals, this is the perfect time to learn portions, structure, meal composition, calorie awareness, and maintenance habits. Again, temporary appetite suppression is not the same thing as long-term skill development. Number 3, learn how to preserve lean muscle tissue. This is not optional anymore, especially after 40. Sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss, is real. And if you already lose muscle naturally with aging, then combine that with dieting, inactivity, low protein intake, and rapid weight loss, you can see how quickly things can spiral metabolically. And from what I see, too many women are pursuing smaller bodies without asking, will this body still be strong? That matters. I don't just want you at a healthy weight. I want you capable. I want you able to carry groceries, travel well, maintain your independence, age powerfully, recover from illness better, and physically live well in later life. That requires lean tissue. Now, do you have to become a bodybuilder? Absolutely not. But some form of resistance training matters. I genuinely do not care whether your preference is weight training, Pilates, yoga, resistance bands, swimming as resistance work, functional training, but you need to give your body a reason to keep your muscle, especially during weight loss. And if you feel that you have to choose between walking and strength training, walking alone is probably not enough to meaningfully preserve lean tissue during aggressive weight loss. Is walking helpful? Yes. Great for health? Absolutely. But resistance matters. And you can have cardiovascular benefits if it's structured appropriately. And again, the body requires you to keep skills. This is not simply a coming off GLP-1 strategy. This is a longevity strategy. Number 4, wrap your head around fiber. I know, this is the least sexy conversation on the internet right now. Few people are making viral reels saying, let's talk about fiber. But honestly, fiber is critically important, especially if someone is taking a GLP-1. Fiber helps to support digestion, elimination, fullness, blood sugar regulation, satiety, cholesterol management, and long-term weight maintenance. And yet many people are eating ultra-processed diet foods all day long while barely consuming enough fiber to support normal digestion. That's not sustainable. And if constipation becomes an issue, which many people experience on GLP-1s, fiber, hydration, movement, and food quality suddenly become very important conversations. This is why now is the ideal time to learn how much fiber you need, which foods contain it, how to build meals around whole foods, and how to realistically sustain those habits. Because eventually, maintenance still comes back to food quality, it comes back to structure, consistency, and habits. It always does. And finally, number 5, learn how to be hungry. This may be the most important lesson of all, because many people become deeply anxious when they start saying, "Oh no, the hunger is coming back." And I understand that fear, especially if someone has struggled with emotional eating, binge eating, food noise, or years of dieting frustration. But I want you to remember, hunger is not an emergency. Hunger is a normal physiological signal. I'm not talking about extreme hunger where you feel like you could gnaw your own arm off. I'm talking about normal biological hunger that says, hey, it's probably time to eat. That's normal. What we've seen happen is that many people became disconnected from their internal cues somewhere along the way. Some emotionally eat, some constantly graze, some chronically diet. Some use food to regulate stress, boredom, sadness, loneliness, or anxiety. And eventually, true physical hunger cues became blurred. So if appetite suppression from a GLP-1 gives someone a quieter environment temporarily, this can actually become a powerful opportunity to relearn physical hunger, fullness, meal timing, emotional triggers, and food awareness. Because eventually, appetite will likely normalize, at least somewhat. And if someone is terrified of hunger itself, that becomes psychologically dangerous long term. You cannot spend your entire life trying to avoid every sensation of hunger. It's not realistic, and it's not emotionally healthy either. Part of your long-term success involves learning that hunger will come, hunger will pass. Yes, you can manage it. You do not need to panic, and you don't need to immediately react emotionally to every appetite cue. That's emotional intelligence, and ultimately freedom. So if I can leave you with one final thought today, it's this. The medication creates a window of opportunity. Use it wisely. If you're taking a GLP-1 right now, ask yourself, what skills am I building while the medication is helping me? Because if you're not learning protein, calorie awareness, muscle preservation, fiber intake, hunger management, behavior change, and maintenance habits, then what exactly are you practicing? Because behaviors are being reinforced either way. And eventually, your long-term habits are still going to matter. Remember, temporary appetite suppression is not the same thing as long-term skill development. And sustainable health still comes back to nourishment, movement, muscle, recovery, consistency, and behavior change. Always, whether medication is involved or not. If you found this video helpful, I welcome you to subscribe to the channel. It's for women over 40 who are looking for realistic, evidence-based conversations around metabolism, menopause, body composition, and sustainable health. And if you're currently taking a GLP-1 and realize you need support building the actual lifestyle skills behind the weight loss process, reach out to me directly at jody@Wright-Sized.com. I'm not interested in helping women lose weight temporarily. I'm interested in helping women build bodies and behaviors they can actually sustain for life. And if this conversation helped you, drop a comment below. Which of these 5 lessons do you think people overlook the most while taking GLP-1s? I'll see you in the next video. Do good, be well, have fun.